Welcome to episode 209. Today on Book Chat, joining me are Casey from Literary Escapism and Nicola from Alpha Heroes. We're discussing the next 3 book bloggers, 1 series read-along title, Wicked Bite, the 5th and final book in the Realm Enforcer series by Rebecca Zanetti. Stay tuned. Today's episode is brought to you by audiobooks.com. New customers get 1 free audiobook when using our promo code AudioShelf. You just need to enter the code AudioShelf on the sign-up page, then click Apply, then fill out the rest of your account info. Support this podcast by using our code AudioShelf and get your first audiobook free. Hey everyone, I am your host, Tamara Ford, and welcome to Book Chat here on the Shelf Addiction Podcast. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. Join in this book discussion by finding me on Twitter, as well as my book blogger co-host. Tweet at us using our special hashtag, 3bloggers1series. That's using the numeric 3 and 1. Again, that's hashtag 3bloggers1series. If Twitter isn't your thing, no worries. You can call in and leave an internet voice message via SpeakPipe. Leave us a voicemail and we will reply to your feedback here on the next read-along episode. I hope to hear your thoughts on tonight's discussion. The links for everything I've mentioned are below in the show notes. Before we jump into this discussion, I have a quick note. I want you to get the full enjoyment out of this conversation, so I recommend that you read the book first. Also, this is a spoiler alert, another reason why you should read the book first. We will have spoilers throughout this entire conversation, so you've been warned. Hey everyone, we are back again and we are finishing out this series. Joining me are my 2 book blogger co-hosts who are along with me on this journey, Casey and Nicola. I'll let them introduce themselves really quickly and then we'll jump into the discussion. Casey, you first.
Hey everybody, I'm Casey. I've been a reviewer at Literary Escapism for the past 6 years now, or 7, I can't count. And I'm also a freelance editor at Heartful of Ink.
Welcome. Nicola?
Hey everybody, my name is Nicola, and I've been blogging at alphaheroes.net for over 10 years. And currently I'm doing some reviewing for RT book reviews as well. Happy to be here.
Yes, we're glad you're here too. Yay! Okay, you guys.
Yay.
If you've been reading along with us, you know that Wicked Bite is the end of the Realm Enforcer series, and let's jump into this thing. That we finally got a book on our guy Bear. We've been talking about him for 5 books now. Do you think that the anticipation was worth it? Did you get the payoff? You want it?
No, not at all. Bear has been my favorite character since book 1, and I'm so disappointed in his book.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm really sad, you guys.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, I don't feel like it was. I think I had preconceived notions in my mind how I thought this book would go based on what I thought his character was, and I was completely wrong. So there's that.
Yeah.
Aw. Was there a payoff? I thought that the series arc wrapped up pretty well. I thought that the way that they wrapped up the who was behind all the Planetite stuff was kind of a good twist. And I'm not, I think they tied up all the loose ends on that series, on that arc. So in that sense, I think it was a fine series closer. I think Bear's character, I think I see why Casey was disappointed, because he's been set up as this kind of easygoing good guy. It's hard, and then as soon as he gets a love interest, he turns into like kind of the same hero that we've been seeing all through the books. So I don't know if that would have been your observation, Casey, but
the raging alpha asshole.
Aww.
Yeah.
I'm so sad.
Yeah, Zanetti writes a very specific kind of hero, and this is another one of those heroes. So.
But in my opinion, I feel like I was hoping for something a little different, like you said with Bear, because like seriously, all of these guys are the same with a different name. Like I can't remember anything distinctive about any of them because they all blend to me. Like when I read paranormal romance, whether it's a long running or short running series, I like to have I don't hate the idea of finding a book boyfriend somewhere in there where you just like him so much. He's the best thing ever. And there was none of these guys hit the mark for me. None of them. And that was a little disappointing for me overall, series wise. And especially in this one, because I was hoping that maybe Bear could be that one, but he wasn't.
He wasn't at all.
Yeah.
I'm so disappointed.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I did like, okay, so let's talk about what I guess we did like. I did like overall the pacing. I did overall like how Nessa was able to handle Bear. I liked, but at certain points, I wasn't clear on what her goal was. Like, okay, so when she was like purposely trying to push him to be all extra dominant and stuff, I'm like, well, why are you doing this exactly? I mean, she's never, I don't know. Maybe it's one of those things where I'm a very powerful woman. And so when I get home, I want to be bossed around and told what to do. I don't know. Because one minute she's complaining, he's so bossy, I don't like that. And then the next minute, oh, he's not doing exactly what I think he should be doing, which is worse than what he's doing now. I don't know. Explain it to me, somebody, please. Help me out.
There is no explanation. It was weird and a dichotomy in her character and I thought it was a flaw because she was like, oh, he's so bossy. Let me beat the shit out of him so then he can, be bossier and meaner and it turns me on.
Well, she liked fighting him
being bossy.
She liked fighting him. That was exciting for her. But that was kind of weird a little bit. I mean, I guess, but
yeah, there are people out there who love the angry sex stuff. I don't. I think it's weird, but it's a thing that some people love, and if you love that, you're going to like this book. I thought they went real far out of their way to have sex in bad weather this time.
Yeah.
That's been the theme. like let's go outside because the weather's bad. And so usually they're running away from something. In this case, they were like 5 steps from indoors and a bed, and so he's tying her to broken boards on the porch with her bra. And I'm just like, just go. It's sleeting. She's got ice in her hair. Like, this is not sexy to me. I mean, I'm just getting old.
No.
I'm just getting old, but God,
no, it's not sexy. And then
are they that different as immortals? I don't know. I don't know, but come on, that seemed a little like just go the extra 5 feet and be inside.
Nicola, you are right. It is not sexy. Oh my gosh. It's
not sexy.
Within that scene, there's this part where she flings her hair and she comments about the ice slapping him in the face.
Yes.
I'm like, what? Okay.
Yes.
What is happening?
It's so cold that your hair has ice in it and you're naked and you're hot? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a new take on the hair flipping. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I mean, I
agree. I was just like, I can't make this seem logical in any way.
Yeah.
At least he didn't compare her to a horse.
Oh, yeah. That's a bonus, yes.
Like the other guy did. Whichever one of them.
Oh my gosh.
Marginal bonus, but still.
But still, that scene, though, I don't know why. I mean, outside of the elements, I was still kind of disturbed by it a little bit. Like, not in the way where I'm like, oh, this is just so wrong. Let me stop reading. I wasn't like to that extreme, but I was still kind of like, I don't know if I'm feeling this. Like, this doesn't feel like any kind of turning point for that relationship, in my opinion. It was just like some crazy sex, like crazy. Like, first, I'm going to chase you around the dang on, forest. and then I'm going to chase you down and just do all this stuff to you on the stairs. And like, you know, all these other things we were talking about. It just was like, I don't know, not cute at all. I'm like, no, sorry. He really
violent, angry sex.
Yeah. That's what it was. It was borderline violence. And she actually said she was kind of scared of him a little bit. Like, that's not good.
That's not good.
No, I mean, to me, it's not. I mean, why do you want to be scared? I mean, and that's a whole nother fetish. I guess you can want to be scared, but I don't want to be scared. I mean, I want to know that that person isn't going to actually attack me or actually do anything that's going to hurt me. But, you know, I'm just saying, I guess. I don't know.
I didn't pick up on that as particularly obnoxious, but I did get a little bored with the angry sex because it's just doesn't do a lot for me.
Yeah.
And by the time we got to the 5th book, I've been a little bit tired of the things blowing up like every other chapter. Something starts blowing up. I'm just like, okay. So I started kind of skimming those. But if you love that, then you're going to love this book. It really, I said in an earlier review too, I think that it's very much like an action movie, like a Schwarzenegger or Bruce Willis or whoever's popular in the last decade that I don't watch. Where they're just always on the run from the bad guys and blowing things up, you know?
Yeah. And I think definitely in this book, there was more action than there was sex. It seemed like it tilted a little bit. Instead of just sex every time you turn around while you're running and hiding and all this stuff, it was like, you know, instead of someone on the run, it took place in like one spot. So they were able to kind of shift. I guess the author shifted the focus a little bit. I mean, the sex stuff was still there, but it wasn't, I think, as often, but those scenes were definitely longer. So as were the fight scenes or the attack scenes. And I did find myself skimming like you did, Nicola, a little bit like, okay, well, let me see how many pages this scene is going to go. I don't like that. Yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they're gonna get rescued at the last minute. Yeah, they're okay. There's the truck driving through the wall. Okay, all right, good.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
So, but that's me. You wanted to talk about things we did like. We didn't get very far with that.
Yeah, we didn't get very far with that.
I liked the twist where Nessa turned out to be the commissioner. I thought that was unexpected, and as it talked more about what that role was, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I wish it had been built up a little bit more in previous books. Like people talked about, well, that's the commissioner. I don't know who the commissioner is. Nobody knows who the commissioner is. You know, if it had been built up a little bit in earlier books, I think it would have been even better. But I did like that she had that uber powerful position.
Yeah.
And she seemed like she was good at it. I thought that her competence at that role was pretty well managed there.
Yeah, she definitely had I
kind of agree with you, but the scene on the plane where she got angry at him for being rich, and then he figured out exactly what she was there for because of her expressive eyes. And I was like, you are the worst undercover person ever. Ever. You're mad because he's rich, and now he knows you think he's the one in charge of the whole Apollo ring.
Yeah, I did think, and that's what I thought. I'm like, if you're this so amazing, supposedly undercover forensic accountant, I mean, still she had to do some accounting, even though she was the commissioner. She couldn't fake being a forensic accountant. So she knew something. So why didn't you follow the money? Why would you just assume he did it because he just has a bunch of money in his accounts? You're not going to look any further? That's dumb. Just saying.
Exactly.
That's a thread that they didn't tie off, but since the money was actually moving out of the Grizzlies, that would have led her there.
Well, yeah, because she saw, like, when she realized he actually had money, but later in the book, they did kind of say how much money what's the guy's name? What was his name? Lucas?
She's surprised by Lucas.
Yeah, but he had a trail of money as well. And if she's so good at snooping, why didn't she also see that he had an influx of money? And she didn't say that Bear had new money. He just had money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not brand new money that just appeared from the sales.
True enough.
It's just you're rich. Okay. I don't know. That was kind of lackluster for me, but okay. And I know it sounds like I'm getting further and further away from things that I liked, but I'm sorry. It's just coming out naturally. So you guys are getting the real reaction. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And there were a few other new plot things that I felt were new that I wasn't really sure what to do with. Like, I liked the idea of where it was going, but I felt like it could have been fleshed out some more, like these Kurgans. I'm like, and I made a note, is that a new species? Did I miss something before when they were talking about these Kurgans? Kurjans.
That's from the last.
I'm like,
that's from the last series.
Okay, because I'm like, oh, all right. I have no idea what that is, what they are, but okay. And then there was another thing where, this whole thing has been about Nessa being able to heal, and it's so important, for her to heal Bear and all this other stuff. But when it comes down to it, you can heal with vampire blood. Why didn't you just drink some vampire blood? Why? I don't understand.
Because he doesn't want to be indebted to anybody.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. There's no logical reason.
I'm just saying.
It helps. Come on. Just a little goose. Just a little goose.
Look.
I don't know. I don't remember I remember where they gave him some vampire blood, but I don't remember what it was supposed to do for them.
He got shot in the head 3 times.
Well, in the previous books, I don't remember them talking about vampire blood at all. I don't remember them saying vampire blood heals you in this world, basically. I don't remember that. But then suddenly Bear is drinking vampire blood to finish off the healing that, Nessa's uncle did. I'm like, well, what? Okay, why didn't you just drink vampire blood?
Because that's the easy route, and he needed Nessa to come save him.
Well, that's normal injuries. Nessa's healing is about the metaphysical soul healing from changing into a dragon.
I guess, but they didn't that.
So the vampire blood heals bodily wounds like concussions and gunshots.
But see, that's why I would have liked to have more information, because like when you think about other series, like let's just go with the Vampire Diaries, for example, because I've been watching that recently. And the vampire blood heals any and everything. There's no if and ands. But if there is exceptions, I would have loved for her to even put a sentence somewhere that explains, well, this is only good for that, and this is why I can help you with this. And I don't think there was one. And the perfect time would have been when they were making the introductions to each other, and they were talking, Nessa was saying, hey, in this deal, this is what I can do for you. That would have been a perfect point to point out why you need me, because that won't work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree.
Sorry.
You just have to go with the flow more, girls. You just have to go more with the flow.
I can't do it.
I know you can't. That's what makes it fun to listen to your rants.
Nicola, but that's why you're here. You have to balance our rants, because we just go off on a tangent and you will reel us back in.
You do.
I'm trying, but I didn't hate this book, but I can't really refute what you guys are saying either. So.
And honestly, I didn't hate it either. I'm just I am hard on any book that I read. I'm not even going to try to fake the funk there. I am kind of hard on some of the plots. Even books that I love, I still find things that don't make sense. And the fact that I finished it says that I didn't hate it. Because life's too short to read bad books. And if I really, really hated this book, I probably would have DNF'd it or, just gave it a really, really bad rating. But I didn't do those things just because, some things didn't make sense to me. I guess I'm just pointing out some things I would have liked to have, addressed differently, or plots that should have been more rounded out to me, but not necessarily saying it's a bad book, if that makes any sense.
My brain is the same way.
It does make sense. And I think, I suspect that, if we hadn't committed to this podcast, we probably would have read the first maybe one or two books, and I don't know if any of us would have kept going, but we committed to reading the whole thing for each other and for the audience. So we did that. But I think that, none of us thought that the first three were amazing and 5-star reads all the way, right? So when you read to review, there's more dynamics at work than when you're just reading for your own pleasure or your own wishes. So this is an interesting dynamic for me. I get assigned books at RT to read whether I like them or not. I very rarely give a 1-star review on my blog or anything like that, because if I'm not liking it that much, I stop reading it because life is too short, right? But when you've got an assigned book that you've committed to read and review, then you do it whether you would normally finish it or not, right? And I feel that there's a little of that going on with the series, at least for the two of you. And I might have stretched out the time between the last couple of books a little more myself, to be perfectly honest. So,
yeah. I mean, I agree with you, because we committed, we did it. But overall, this series, like this book, okay, so this book specifically, it wasn't a bad installment. It did finish the story. It did its job. Was it like the best one of the group? I don't think so, in my opinion, but it's status quo for this series. If you've been enjoying the other books, then I think, like you said, Nicola, the audience will enjoy this book as well, because it's kind of status quo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Did you guys think the end was telegraphed at all? Did you see it coming?
I did.
Did I see what coming?
I jumped the gun and took your job, Tamara. Who the bad guy was?
Oh, okay.
He did think suspicious in like book 2, and I've been suspicious of him this whole time. So that's just me.
Yeah, he had kind of a bad boy vibe going on, but I thought that was supposed to be making him look sexier or something. So I wasn't sure until we got into the, now that you know the end, when you look back, you're like, oh, because Bear was obsessed through the whole thing with getting all of the non-bears out of his way, right? He only trusted the bears, and I actually thought it was going to be one of those 3 that he was trying to pull back into the fold. Duncan and I forget who the other two were.
Yeah, the ones that were MIA.
Right. Yeah, there were 3 of them that were out of town, off the grid, hard to get a hold of, and he was, Bear was kind of obsessive about getting those guys back on the territory, and because they were so elusive, I thought it was going to be one of them.
Yeah, I am with you there. I kind of did think that it had something to do with them, but there were 2 other things that kind of were nagging me in the back of my mind. Like Lucas, when they were talking about his past and stuff, kind of early on, I feel like it was, I should have marked the percentage. Maybe it was around the 40 or 50%. I'm like, why are we hearing so much about Lucas? Why do we care about him? Like, why are they telling us all of this? I'm like, is she trying to set up another spinoff? What's going on? So I'm like, okay, well, there must be something with him. Because why do we care about how he feels about Bear getting with Nessa and all this stuff? I mean, it just seemed like a lot. So I automatically listed him as a suspect. But then I also, there was another part where, that you said, Nicola, like the whole time, Bear kept saying, I hate witches. I don't like anybody else but the bear shifters. I'm like, well, obviously there's something to that. And then, of course, as we got closer to the end, people who were non-bear shifters were helping him. And he kept noting that people were helping him that were not bear shifters. I'm like, okay. So I could kind of tell. I kind of could tell.
Right.
But, I like to sniff those things out.
And it was a little odd, too, because, because his hatred of I guess they had to be bear shifters, too, because he wasn't crazy about other shifters.
Yeah.
He wasn't crazy about, but, his brother is a dragon, his sister is a witch, his, it just seemed like he had a lot of these ties and he wasn't acknowledging them. But then the thing that clinched it, I don't know if you guys noticed this, was he was talking to Nessa, and he was getting ready to go torture the uncle and Jasper, and he says, "You're thinking with your heart. It's often the person, betrayal comes from the person you're closest to." Like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
That was like a big ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
That was the big giveaway. Earlier in the series, I think it might have been book 2 when the Lucas led a group of bear shifters to go attack somebody. And then when Bear found out, he got really angry at them. It was at that point that I realized that Lucas has his own agenda. So for the whole series arc, I'm like, who's this crazy Luke guy? But then we start this book and he's like, he's my best friend. I love him. Everything's good. I put him in charge. It's like, okay. But, we've had issues with him in the past. So, and then, that line you mentioned.
That's right. That was the thing that was real hinky, where they took a contract to kidnap one of the witches or something.
Yeah. I don't know. That kind of, and I don't know how I feel about Lucas's motivations. I mean, his family were killed, but they were running a slave and sex trafficking business.
He was a kid. Did he know what they were doing?
Yeah, it wasn't really. Do we know? Did Lucas know? Yeah, did Lucas know what his parents were executed for? He said smuggling.
Because he was a kid, so I don't think he'd really know the slave sex aspect part of it. But
well, if he didn't know then, girl told him. The girl that was working with him told him. What was her name?
Oh, Grace? Grace.
Yeah.
Grace Sadler.
Yeah, she told him.
Did she?
Well, at least at that part at the end where she was being held by him, I guess maybe it was revealed then that that's what was going on.
That's where everybody else found out. It was really unclear whether Lucas knew about the real smuggling, the real crime there.
I feel like she told him. Like, maybe he didn't.
I thought it was unclear. But you're right. I would think Grace would have known. So
Yeah. I mean, maybe he didn't know from the beginning, but at some point he knew. I don't know if it was even as recent as, him trying to, seal the last, complete the last part of his plan. But eventually I feel like he knew. He didn't care. And that was why he didn't appreciate Grace. And that's why he switched, she's not on his team anymore. So I'm going to tie you up, is because you're not on par with this plan anymore. And, you have a right to be angry too. And she's like, well, you're more crazy than they are because.
Yeah,
Grace is an interesting character. She was central to a lot of it, but also sidelined, and it was kind of like, I don't know what I thought about Grace.
Why do they keep bringing up the fact that Simone dated the same man as Grace at one point? I feel like they did that way too many times.
Twice. It was twice, but yeah, because she thought that was the motivation, I guess.
Because Grace was mad about it or something? I don't know.
We dated the same man, so I'm going to blow up all the witches. That makes total sense.
Well, the witches stripped her of power. That's why she why she was upset about, or why she was willing to, go after the Coven 9 and go after the Witch Nation, is because they did her bad.
Yeah. I'm actually looking for that one section right now.
I can't remember what her crime was, though.
Because I'm going to find it. I'm looking right now because I feel like they had that conversation. I'm like, I'm going to find it.
Look it up.
Okay, I will.
But we didn't really find out all of the intricate details, because I felt like there were more bad guys involved with the Apollo.
There had to be, right? Like, just,
and like the mining of it, and
yeah, I mean, there had to be.
yeah, it couldn't be just Lucas.
Well, they did kind of.
And yeah, Grace's sons are part of it, but
they did kind of dust off their hands at the end and just say, "Oh well, we found everything. We found the manufacturing, we found the distribution. We found the warehouses. We're going to take care of it all. It's all good now." But yeah, all the agents that would have had to be involved, like what was going on with them. It's a big operation, and it seemed a little bit facile to figure if you found the guy and you took him out, that it was all over after that, you know?
Yeah, what about all the other distributors? I mean, it wasn't just those 3 humans that were in the club.
yeah.
The wolves, it was the wolves.
Yes.
Those dang wolves.
There were rogues.
Yeah, and those wolves, did we see, okay, I must be missing a bunch of stuff. Did we see wolves in other books in this series? Were there other wolf shifters?
No.
I can't remember mention of other shifters.
I think they may have been mentioned, but I think the only shifters were the bear shifters.
And dragons.
Mm-hmm.
And bunnies.
And dragons. Sorry, forgot about those dragons.
And bunnies.
And the little bunny.
And what about, was it Nick who helped Bear connect like with his dragon again?
Yes.
Is that who it was? Yeah.
Yeah, to heal.
I'm like, that's interesting.
To help him access the mating bond.
I don't know how I feel about that either.
Mind control.
It's a little magical.
Oh, it's more than a little, because I'm like, I don't really get it. I mean, I understood what was happening, obviously, because she was telling us, but I mean, I don't understand. Like, it was so dangerous for him to even attempt to access that part of his genes. But if, a demon can help you, then it's all good.
Well, it's dangerous for him. Yeah, it's dangerous for him to shift. So I don't really understand what it was that happened there, but,
Yeah, I think he thought he could get more power.
They have talked about mating bonds helping each other heal and helping each other fight, so there's precedent for that. It was the little extra dragon twist in there that was kind of, don't quite get it, but, I'll roll with it.
You'll roll with it.
That's me. I'll roll with it.
Nicola, you are so much better than me with the roll with it. I wish I could just roll with it. I really do. Oh, I wish I could.
I can't roll with it. No, I can't.
Listen, I read J.R. Ward. I'm still reading J.R. Ward, and all her stuff with the Omega and the Queen Goddess Lady Scribe, the Scribe Virgin, and all her weird metaphysical stuff. Like, this is nothing.
But the difference with that, like
I'm going to go back in time and I'm going to be somebody else's dad. Yeah, that's how it's going to, and they are going to continue to exist, but they won't know it until now. And now I'm their dad, and then I wasn't, but now I am. And what? So, yeah, this was kind of like small potatoes for a plot point. It was minor, and you knew she was going to get healed one way or another.
But maybe that's why for me it didn't hit, because like those other things, it was so dramatic and over the top. You're kind of like, oh my gosh, what? It is like you're so shocked by some of the revelations. It's like all the other stuff just goes out the window because you're like, what is this? This is crazy drama. And this drama was so like low key. It's like, what? But what about that? What about this? It wasn't big enough, maybe.
Well, that's when she wasn't able to throw fire until after he did that too, right? So fire's part of it. I don't know.
Yeah, she threw fire at the very, very end.
Yeah. So,
which, can we talk about that? Can we talk about the fire stuff?
Yeah.
Like, what? Why doesn't she have fire? Why did she want to mate a shifter in the first place?
She wanted to make a dragon shifter because she thought that maybe she'd get some kind of fire out of that.
Hmm.
Because they share powers.
if she wanted the dragon, technically it probably would have made better sense for her to go after the brother, like he was trying to hook her up with the brother, or he thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but she can't get to the brother.
But at the same time, I guess he was easier because she was already there to heal him. So that made sense.
Well, she had two reasons, right? She wanted the fire, but she also thought that he was moving the drugs. So those seem a little bit incompatible on the surface. Like, I think you're an uber villain, but let's mate.
So why would she want to mate him if she thought he was a bad guy? I'm going to work undercover and mate you because I have to investigate you. So,
well, so here's the thing that I didn't like at all was the thing about how her uncle set up the whole, I'm going to get kidnapped so that this bad guy can mate you. And haha, it was a joke. Like, what the ever living fuck was that about? Sorry. That was the
timeline didn't work on that either.
But, that was never explained. That one really annoyed me. Like, I got caught up in the plot after that, but that made no sense. None. I don't like it when you go undercover without telling me where you are. So I'm going to make you... So you're going to do what? Yeah, you're right. The timeline didn't work because...
He's 2,000 years old. Just go with it.
Right. Well, but... Yeah. So I don't know what was the name of the guy that wanted to mate her, the other healer?
George something?
George, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
George, sure. Yeah, so George has been after her for a long time, and so, I didn't get that. I didn't get why this awesome, wonderful uncle would do that. Why would, it was weird.
Yeah, there was no point to that, really. I just did not. I agree. I'm like, well, that one didn't really make any sense at all, and there was no point to it.
Yeah, so
None.
when you talk about going with the flow, I'm like, I turned the page and I got caught up in the next thing, and I didn't really think about it till now. I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell was that about? But yeah, that was her reason for wanting to get mated, was so that George would give up and leave her alone.
She's going to look at the man she's investigating for running Apollo before looking at Jasper or literally anybody else.
Yeah. And let's not forget, you guys, this is not let's run down to the church house and get married or go to the court. Let's let this guy nearly bite your shoulder off so you can mate him because he is a bear. Okay. I feel like you need to commit if you're going to be letting him bite your shoulder off like that.
Well, and that's kind of what Bear was saying. In fairness, he did let her know that. Yeah, the whole thing about losing his shoulder was a little my eyebrows were up in my hairline there. What? What?
Right.
Okay, Bear, don't do that. Just more, and then going down into the bone. Oh, come on now. That doesn't. I don't like that. But.
I must have skipped that because I don't remember it.
Well, when he actually did do the bite, she talked about being able to feel his teeth going into her bones, and I was
oh gosh,
oh god,
and one tear rolls down her face. I'm just like, oh come on,
yes,
this is not sexy.
No,
a bite, yes. On the
I can't. I'd be like, okay, look, you have to do what to me? Okay, look, we're just going to just pause on this for now. We're going to pause until we're completely sure we're in love with each other, okay? Because that's not happening. I'm sorry.
Let's talk about options, shall we?
Oh, I tell you, these heroines, there's something else because I just can't do some of this stuff. Oh, no.
Well, they are immortal. They are immortal, so they're different than you and I. This kind of stuff is like mosquito bite to them, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
not if she's feeling it in her bones.
One tear though, one single tear.
Oh my god.
Oh, that was kind of funny now that you say it like that. That is kind of funny.
Yeah, so anyway, that doesn't, and then Okay, so we're gonna get a little bit R-rated here, but every time it was like he's so big that it hurts. Like must we,
Oh God, I know. I'm like,
must we really?
I know. I'm like, okay, and then
Yeah, I just.
oh, and I mean, honestly, they really had, except for fighting, they really didn't have any foreplay in a major way. So it's like, what? Hold on, wait a minute.
Yeah,
What?
and there was, I
And
think,
the fighting was like brutal fighting. Like, I'm gonna throat punch you and run away.
because that's the foreplay.
What kind of freaking foreplay is
Oh my gosh!
Immortal foreplay, Casey. It's immortal foreplay.
Oh,
So
I've heard of
yeah.
more sexy immortal foreplay than that. I'm just saying. Yeah, I guess.
I guess
Ugh.
Ernest is a size queen, is what it is. So I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Ugh. Okay. Whew. You guys have me cracking up over here. I need something to drink. Y'all have me rolling. Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess there wasn't a ton new in this book. It was very much like other books, and they brought
No.
the series arc to a close. We didn't have any crazy new magical creatures like the dragons. We had everybody makes a little cameo there at some point or another. Yeah.
Yeah, they all
Okay.
come at the end to celebrate, which is nice and cute. Oh, all the brothers, you know, the realm
Yeah.
enforcers.
Brothers, sisters, and everybody's together again.
Like a big old happy family.
It was cute.
It is weird, like having all those different people related to everyone, but yet you're all kind of in the same business. You're all kind of doing, I don't know. I'm like, oh, I would be annoyed if I had to work with my family like that all the time. But, you know, to each his own. Fun stuff.
So I liked her negotiation at the end with the king. She talked him up quite a bit on her salary. I like that. I thought it would have been funnier if she'd made him throw in a truck as well, because there was a line in there about how you owe me a truck and a plane. Like if she had gotten both of them.
Well, now that she's getting $20 million,
Right.
she can buy him 20 trucks.
I know, but that's not the point. That's not.
Didn't that jump from like 2 million to 20 million?
I think it started out as 5.
It was 5 million, 10 million, then 20.
5 to 20.
Yeah.
Really, the Vampire King would have come down after he conceded the location. I think, like, all right, we're back down to like 7, and you can live where you want. But whatever. What do I know about negotiating multi-million-dollar contracts with Vampire Kings? So I have no experience in that.
Well, hey, I mean, I have never. I wonder if I'll ever be in a position to negotiate demand that kind of salary for a job that you can change the name of it if you want. You don't even have it's whatever you want it to be.
First, you have to be the commissioner for the Witch Nation and lead a secret police force for a couple of decades. Then you'll be qualified.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that will never happen.
That's like the CIA, right? So she's the director of the Witch CIA, secret police.
Pretty much.
So they've got enforcers, and they've got the guard, and they've got whatever it is that she runs.
The Covenant 9.
Or does she run the guard?
No, she runs the guards.
She runs the guard.
But it's a secret.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, yeah, it's a secret guard.
Yeah.
So the enforcers take care of the Covenant 9, and then the guard are like the police, and they have a secret commissioner because they're always fearful that someone might try to execute them.
Or, get them to be mated against their will by their crazy uncle.
Makes sense. He's been around for 2,000 years. He's fine. She loves him. It's all good.
I think he's probably a little crazy is what I think. His eyes were twinkling a lot for a bad guy. Did you notice that? Uncle, what's his name's eyes were always twinkling, which is how you know he's not a bad guy.
No, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, because he's happy.
He's got that humor.
Oh, goodness. Twinkle in the eye. That's so funny. Oh, my gosh. No. All right. Well, I guess that's it. Is that it for Realm Enforcers, or is there more for us to discuss regarding Wicked Bite?
Just one last thing, really quick.
Yeah.
I hated how she and Jasper were like portrayed as best friends and totally platonic and happy with each other until the very end when Bear is about to torture him and Jasper's like, no, she's going to leave you and come to me. And then that was it. We're done. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, yeah. Like, what was the point of that? Like, why?
Well, yeah. What is this one line for? Why can't they just be platonic friends and show that we can have platonic friendships between men and women? Please.
So I can tell you what that was. That was what we call filler and not meaningful. So that's just like filling in some lines until they get to Lucas, who comes in and does his thing.
Is that the word count filler? Is that what it is? Word count?
Yep. Okay. I think it's a pacing thing, right? So they just need to have some conversation and show how badass they all were until Lucas comes down and.
Couldn't they have said something else? Why did it have to be about that?
Hey, how's the weather?
Please. I'm gonna get angry over something else.
Yeah.
I don't
Please. I just want platonic friendships.
Yeah, I don't know if Lucas was, or if Jasper has a thing for her, or if he was just trying to piss off Bear. So.
Yeah.
You can go with that if you feel like they need to stay platonic.
I don't know.
Yeah, I might.
They should have just, I agree. They should have just left it. They just threw that in. The author just threw that in there, but they were a great team as friends. And I wish that, that wasn't there. I do agree with that. Like, why? Just leave it. But it's neither here or there, I guess.
Yeah, it didn't bug me that.
He survived. He wasn't killed.
It's over now.
Yeah.
Everybody survived. That's the amazing thing, right? Like only Lucas was out. And the humans.
Yeah. And there's
I don't think he even killed most of the wolves, weird. Right?
There should be but who cares about them? We didn't even know about them before.
He killed a few wolves.
Well, but now they're going to be mad.
He killed that one bounty hunter.
Oh, wow.
Collateral damage.
I mean, I almost feel like there should have been one major death. I mean, yes, you do kind of want a happily ever after, I guess, but I feel like sometimes the payoff, it doesn't seem like a real story, like unless there's some major consequence, some major loss, and then the reward is sweeter when you solve it in the end. Like even Simone's baby, I mean, they almost had her lose that baby. And I was thinking for a minute, well, will she? I mean, that would be like a really tragic thing. But then I don't know. I guess it was cool that she saved her, but I was waiting on something tragic.
Yeah.
I was going to say, this is also the super human baby that everybody wants to kill. And nobody wants this baby to be born. And once this baby is born, they're going to try and kill her.
Except they really do. Yeah. So you want a little George R. R. Martin action then, is what you're saying. Red wedding happening in here, right?
Well, not necessarily that far, but I mean, I think about all of the longer running series that I've read, and it seems like there's always some kind of major loss somewhere where it really bites for the team. And then it's like it takes them something to, kind of get their selves together again, and then they triumph in the end kind of thing. But, it didn't have to be in this book. It could have been in the last book or, somewhere along the line. But it didn't really happen.
Well, I think we can all agree there isn't going to be a next book. Not on the podcast, anyway.
No, we're done with this.
No, we're not talking about it.
We're done. Okay, so let's go ahead and rate this book, and then we can just say if, I think we've kind of covered it after we rate it. I don't know what else there is more to say. as far as this series overall. If you guys have been listening, you probably know how we feel about this series. So yeah, let's rate this thing. So Casey, you first.
3 stars. I usually give these books 3 stars. Like, there are plot holes and issues and more plot holes and more issues. So I can't give anything more than 3 stars.
Nicola?
Yeah, I think I'm a 3 as well on this. Not so much because of the plot holes, but just because it didn't wow me. It tied off the series arc in a adequate way, but it was just kind of more of the same. So I just kind of wanted something a little more interesting, I guess, to put it in the 4 range.
Yeah, same for me. I gave it a 3. Did you say 4?
No, I said 3. I said I would want a little bit more to get it into a 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I gave it a 3 as well, just because technically I was kind of sitting around a 2.5, but since we don't do halves, especially because it's not on Goodreads, it's half. I did round up. I gave it, I did round up instead of down, just because a lot of the things were wrapped up, and it was a consistent series. Overall, I did consider the series when rating that final book. So it ended up with a 3 instead of the other rating it could have gotten. So yeah, 3. That's it. And we are done with Realm Enforcers. So everyone listening, if you have read the Realm Enforcer series and you totally disagree with everything we're saying here, or you agree with us, we want to hear it. We want to know what you thought about Wicked Bites and the series overall. Did you enjoy reading this book with us? Did you enjoy reading the series, period? I want to know. Do you guys want to know?
What did we totally miss?
I want to know, yeah.
That you caught, and you don't understand why we weren't talking about it. That's what I want to hear.
Yes, that too. Let us know, because we want to have some more conversation on this with you guys who read along with us. So that is all for today, and we will have.
I was just going to say, when we do this, that's the thing I like the best, is that Casey and Tamara come up with things that I didn't see, and then I kind of go, oh yeah, and here's some more about that. So that's what makes it fun.
Yeah, totally. So join us in that fun and let us know what you thought. So that is it for today. And you guys will see a really short little snippet from us in the next week after this airs. And you'll know what we're reading next. And we hope you will join us for that. And yeah, we're done for today. So until next time, happy reading, everyone. Take care. If you enjoyed today's episode and would like to show your support, there are a few things you can do. Head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a positive 5-star review. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Most importantly, you can share this podcast with friends and family that love pop culture, from books and audiobooks to TV and movies. I'll see you next time here on the Shelf Addiction Podcast.